He's coming. Okay.
Jean. 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 I waited about a whole hour for you to come back. If you didn't mind leaving me, then you might have considered Lady John.
Is she here with you?
No, my place is nearer than this, and she was very tired. I left her to get some tea. We couldn't tell if you'd be here or what had become of you.
Mr. Trent got us a hansom.
Trent?
The chairman of the meeting?
Got us.
Miss Levering and me.
Miss Lev.
Oh, at last. You'll forgive this inclusion, Miss Pickett. When you hear, they've been telegraphing you all over the city. In despair, they sent me on your track.
Who did? What's up?
There was a devil to play at Dupfield last night. The Liberal chap tore from the city and took over your meeting.
Oh? Nothing about it in the Sunday paper I saw.
Wait till you see the press tomorrow morning. Oh, there was a great rally. The beggar made a rousing speech.
What about?
Abolition of the upper house.
They were at that when I was at Eton.
Yes, but this new man, he's got a way of putting things. The people went mad. The Liberal platform as defined as Dupfield is going to make a big difference.
You think so?
Your agent says as much.
Try to find Stornor.
Tremendous effect of last night's Liberal manifesto ought to be counteracted in tomorrow's papers. You see, Mr. Stornor, it's a battle cry we want.
Claptrap.
Well, they've been saying we have nothing to offer but personal popularity. No practical reform, no
truckling the masses, I suppose.
Well, in these democratic days, I hope you'll forgive my bursting in like this. But I can see you realize the gravity. It isn't as if you were going to be a mere private member. Everybody knows he'll be in the cabinet.
It may be a Liberal cabinet.
Nobody thought so up until last night. Even your brother. But I'm afraid he's seeming officious.
What about my brother?
I met Lord Windlesham as he rushed out of the Carlton.
Did he say anything?
I told him the Dupfield news.
Well?
He said it only confirmed his fears.
Said that, did he?
Yes. Defeat is inevitable, he thinks. Unless you can manufacture some political dynamite within the next few hours. Those were his words.
Jean, are you tired?
No.
I'm obliged to you for taking so much trouble. I'll see what can be done.
If you'd like to wire, I'll take it.
You don't understand, my young friend. Moves of this kind are not rushed at by responsible politicians. I must have time for consideration.
Well, I only hope someone else won't jump into the breach before you. I tell you. I'll find out what time the newspapers go out on Preston Sunday. Goodbye. I'll be at the club if I can be of any use.
No, don't do that. If I should have anything new to say.
But with our party, as your brother said, heading into a straight and vast electoral disaster.
If I decide on a counterblast, I shall simply telegraph to headquarters. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Political dynamite, eh? After all, women are much more conservative than men, aren't they? Especially the women in the property qualification would bring in. You see now, one reason why I've encouraged you to take an interest in public affairs, because people like us don't go screaming about it. It's no sign that we don't. See what's on the way, however little they want to Women of our class will have to come into line. All the best things in the world, everything that civilization has won, will be in danger when this change comes. The only women who have political training are the women of the lower classes. Women of the lower classes and women inoculated by the socialist virus.
Geoffrey,
Let's see, how shall we put it? When the time comes, shall we? Enough political dynamite in that. Rather too much, isn't there?
Geoffrey, I know her story.
Whose story?
Miss Lovering's.
Whose?
Vida Lovering's. Why did she desert her?
I.
Why did she do it?
What in the name of... What has she been saying to you?
Someone else told me part. And then I saw the way you looked at her when you saw her at Aunt Susan's. Miss Lovering saying she didn't know you, and then you letting out even the curious name on the handkerchief. I pieced it together.
Your ingenuity is undeniable.
And then at the meeting, when she talked about the dark hour, and I looked at your face and it flashed over me. Why did you desert her?
I didn't desert her.
I'm glad. I'm glad. She went away from you then?
You don't expect me to enter into...
She went away from you.
Yes!
Was it because you wouldn't marry her?
I couldn't marry her and she knew it.
Did you want to?
I thought I did. Then. It was a long time ago.
And why couldn't you?
Why are you chastising me? It's a matter that concerns another woman.
If you're saying that it doesn't concern me, then you're saying that you don't concern me.
In those days, I was absolutely dependent on my father.
Why, you must have been 30, Geoffrey.
What? Oh, thereabouts.
Everyone says you're so clever.
Well, everybody's mistaken.
It must have been terribly hard for you both that a man like you shouldn't have the freedom that even the lowest seem to have.
Freedom?
To marry the woman they choose.
She didn't break off our relations because I couldn't marry her.
Why was it then?
You're too young to discuss such a story.
I'm not as young as she was when...
Very well then, if you will have it. The truth is, it didn't seem to weigh upon her as it seems to you that I wasn't able to marry her.
Why are you so sure of that?
Because she didn't so much as hint at such a thing when she wrote that she meant to break off the...
What made her write like that?
Why will you go on talking about something that's so long over and ended?
What reason did she give?
If your curiosity has got the upper hand, ask her.
You're afraid to tell me.
I still hoped at the time to win over my father. She blamed me because if the child had lived, it wouldn't have been possible for my father to overlook it.
Why would you want it overlooked? I don't understand.
Of course you don't. If you did, you wouldn't be the beautiful, tender, innocent child you are.
I'm glad you didn't desert her. It was only some misunderstanding that can be cleared up.
Cleared up?
Yes, cleared up.
You aren't thinking that this miserable old affair I'd as good as forgotten.
When?
No. I don't exactly mean forgotten, but you're torturing me and I don't know what I'm saying. You aren't... Jean, you aren't going to let this come between you and me.
I can't make or unmake what's past, but I'm glad at least you didn't mean to desert her in her time of troubles. You'll remind her of that first of all, won't you?
Where are you going? Why should I remind anybody of only what I want to forget?
Shh.
You don't mean that she's...
Yes. I left her to get a little rest. Geoffrey, don't go before you hear me out. I don't know if what I think matters to you. I hope it does, but you can still make me think of you without shrinking, if you will.
What is it that you are asking of me?
To make amends, Geoffrey.
You poor little innocent.
Not so innocent. But what I do know is you must right this past wrong if you're ever to right it.
You aren't insane enough to think that I would turn around these few hours just to go back to something 10 years ago was ended forever. Why, it's stark, staring madness.
No. What you did 10 years ago, that was madness. This is paying a debt.
Look here, Jean. You're dreadfully wrought up and excited. Tired, too.
No, not tired. You smile at sudden conversions. You think they're hysterical, worse, vulgar, but people have to make revelations where they can. And Geoffrey, if I can't make you see this one of mine, then I shall know that our love never meant strength to me, only weakness, and I shall be afraid, so afraid that I shall dare never give you the chance of making me loathe myself. I shall never see you again.
How right I was to be afraid of the vain fantasism of you.
Certainly you couldn't make a greater mistake now than to leave and think any good would come of it. Even if I came to feel different, I couldn't do anything different. I should know that all of this could not be forgotten. I should know that it would poison my life in the end, yours too.
She's made good use of her time. What has changed her? Has she been seeing visions too?
What do you mean?
Why is she intriguing to get a hold of a man that 10 years ago she flatly refused to see or hold any communication with?
Intriguing to get a hold of. She hasn't mentioned you.
What? Then how, in the name of heaven, do you know that she wants what you ask?
There can't be any doubt of that.
You absurd, ridiculous child. Then all of this is just your own unaided invention. Oh, I could thank God.
For what are you thanking God?
Suppose. Whether I deserve to suffer or not, it's quite certain you don't. Don't cry. It was never the real thing. I had to wait till I knew you before I understood.
Is that true? Look, loving you has made things clear to me that I never dreamed of before, but if I could think that because of me, you were able to do this.
Look here. Do you seriously ask me to give up the girl I love and go offer to marry a woman I don't even think of?
You cared for her once. You'll care for her again. She is brilliant and beautiful. Why, I heard she could win any man she set herself to.
She's bewitched you.
Geoffrey, you aren't going away like this. This isn't the end.
I suppose. Even if she refused me, you'd...
Refuse you.
She did once.
She didn't refuse to marry you.
Wait. Lady John is waiting all this while for the car to go back with a message.
That's not a matter of life and death.
All the same, I'll go down and give the order.
Very well. You'll come back if you're the man I pray you are.
Dearest of all the world.